Well, hello there, YouTube. I thought I'd cover with obsessive natures of autism and Aspergers. So basically, this is coming from my own position and what I've done to deal with it, and kind of benefits you get from it, not just the negatives. So just a rundown of quickly, obsessive nature is intrusive thoughts that take over the situation. Uh, Basically, being distractible about certain things, kind of like kids are really, but it follows on. I find that a lot of people with Asperger's tend to have very strong intrusive thoughts that take over quite a lot. Um, Usually in reference to something we're very obsessed about, very engaged about. Colors seem to be a big thing for a lot of people, as well as sound. I know I love music and I can get distracted by it quite easily. I'm a huge fan of a lot of bands, and I'm constantly going to music festivals just to just to listen to what a live band was like, or that band is like. For me, my obsessive nature has been difficult in some ways, but also beneficial in others. For instance, when I finally decided that I was sick of not being able to socialize with people and started working on that, it became very handy because understanding social dynamics became my obsession. And it was good because when I was in a social situation, I was so absorbed in what I was talking to the other person to about, or what they were saying, or what was happening, that I was very engaged, and other people responded very well with that. So that was quite handy. And I still have an obsession with games. I love computer games. I love puzzles, and I love strategies and the rules and the dynamics people put into games. I very much love the rules, and I love trying to bend the rules. Trying to, a lot of people terminology is finding the bugs in games. So basically, like they'll set up a rule in the game where you're actually meant to go along this area to get here. Like now, games are a lot more open to that kind of thing, but a lot of games still have very linear kind of style of play, and I like to see if I can get around those dynamics at times. Just exploring the situation and see if I can cheat a section. Not actually cheating games, but cheating the design of the game. And I quite like games because of the imagination that comes from it. It's almost another world in a lot of ways. I think that's why a lot of people get obsessed with games to a point where it starts pulling their lives apart, because it's an escape from what they have to go through in daily life. When they realize, it takes time for them to realize that what they go through in real life is actually much more fun than a game. So when you start getting out there, you start losing your fear for it. Anyway, so I used to have a problem with games. I used to be a little too obsessed with them. I used to enjoy them a little too much, and they used to take up all my time. Anyway, I learned to realize when I was making it a habit to get up and play a game, so that when I got to that point, I knew straight away that I needed to put my game system away, which is an Xbox 360 for this case. I would actually disconnect it from my TV, wrap it all up, put it in its box, and then put it away somewhere where I wouldn't see it. And then I'd go do something else. And this broke the chain. Now, so if, for instance, if you're trying to get your kid to not be so obsessive, I think what I just said there just proved my point. Don't try and stop them from being obsessive. Try to teach them how to use their obsessive nature in a more productive way. Like I said, with understanding social dynamics, that was something I chose to do, and because of that, my obsession kind of came along with it. It went, I want to know every little detail of this. I need to understand, and that was extremely helpful. I also have this tendency with books, self-development books for one. I love. a good book or a fantasy book, and I can't stop reading them sometimes. I pick them up, I can't put them down. Um, don't worry about if your child has an obsessive nature. Don't worry about it taking over their life because if that kid's in a good environment, they will get bored of something. It might take them a little longer, but they will get bored of an obsession, and they'll just finally mature to a point where they can learn to just put it down, walk away when they need to, and go do other things when they need to. But you got to let them develop that. That's something. It's a decision in their head they've got to make. One thing is it's really good to use those obsessions to a productive nature. Like, I know, if my parents, actually, I think my parents did do this quite often. If I found an interest in something that was science or creative, my parents were very supportive of it, and they would actually try and find ways for me to be involved in that kind of area. Like science, for instance, I love science, and my mom used to help me make little chemistry sets and make glow in the dark bouncy balls and growing crystals and stuff like that. All those kind of things, I really enjoyed them, and I have to admit, I really, really loved being obsessed about them. I kind of outgrew them, but I'm kind of getting back into them nowadays. Um, so basically, what I'm trying to say is go from a positive angle if you're trying to deal with your kids' obsessive natures. Try and don't try and take it away from them because that's just going to upset them. I know it upset me. I used to have a great knowledge of rudimental designs of computers when I was younger because I actually built computers myself, and that was something I did, and I loved doing that. And it got I got pretty obsessed about it, and when my mum took my computer away, it was so upsetting because it was something I had spent so much time on and so much energy. How would you feel if you were doing something you thought was right and you were also enjoying it, and it was something you put a lot of energy in, and then someone comes in and takes it away? So don't forget that it can be difficult to deal with your kid having a very obsessive nature in that way, but if you just give it a little nudge in the right direction, it's going to be beneficial to that person and to your child in the long run. As for learning to control your obsessive natures, it really comes with maturity and just experiencing enough that you learn to know when you're being too distracted or too obsessive in one um, idea. I find that the more I find balance with myself, the more I become in control of any of my tendencies that are classified as autism. They're not out of control, it's just there's no one in our immediate group to teach us how to be in control of them. It takes a whole village to bring up a kid, and apparently it takes a whole city to bring up an autistic kid. um, I think I've pretty much covered most of the things I wanted to talk about. Anyway, feel free to ask any questions. I have been really busy with work all week for the last few weeks, and I still will be for a little while. But I'll try to get on as much as I can and put some more vids up on any subjects that anyone wants me to put on, or any ideas I come up with, because there's plenty of them floating around up here. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll speak to you soon.